Last year, the match between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder was the blockbuster boost the heavyweight division needed. Two unpredictable giants of the sport went toe to toe.
I ain't gotta say it, I'm the best.
Do that, Deontay Wilder! Do that!
So I sit here today as the best heavyweight alive.
You only had companies because Klitschko didn't throw no punches.
Audiences around the world tuned in to the foul-mouthed press conferences between the two. The WBC World Heavyweight title fight was a classic, and the bout ended in a draw. Fury survived 2 knockdowns, but somehow managed to stay in the fight by winning a number of rounds. Many even thought the British boxer deserved the win.
And I literally seen this man eyes rolling in the back of his head. When I seen Jack on the ground with him, checking him, I'm like, it's over, only God knows how he got back up.
Well, to be honest with you, I've never seen a worse decision in my life.
I had fun, though. I don't make excuses. I enjoy the moment.
I don't know what fight that them judges are watching. The guy who gave it 115, 111, he had me losing the first 6 rounds, and I don't know what he was watching.
The fight between Wilder and Fury was one of the most anticipated heavyweight clashes in years. More than 10 million people watched the contest, and with a rematch on the cards, boxing looked set for a stellar 2019. But that never happened.
It's just another opponent. You need a dancing partner, right? You need a dancing partner, and Jarrell's a good dancing partner.
He's not the popular one no more. I come to UK, I'm swearing I'm hearing AJ. I'm hearing Tyson Fury now.
Look at his face. I'm gonna reconstruct his face.
Anthony Joshua, the unified world heavyweight champion, is heading to the States, but it's not really the fight we were hoping for.
Are you not entertained?
On June the 1st, AJ will fight Jarrell Big Baby Miller. Deontay Wilder's next fight is against Dominic Breazeale, and Tyson Fury will step into the ring against German boxer Tom Schwarz. So, 3 of the most exciting heavyweight boxers, 3 relatively disappointing fights. Fury, Wilder and Joshua should cruise to victory, and it's not the matchup boxing fans wanted. Here is the problem. Each boxer has recently signed a lucrative contract with a different sports network, which makes it hard to negotiate on which channel the contest will be broadcast. So, the potential rematch for Wilder v Fury doesn't look like it's happening anytime this year. And it seems that in 2019, Anthony Joshua may not fight anyone who's a real threat to his crown. The heavyweight division seems to have a problem. The big fighters are heading towards the big money TV deals that try their best to stick to low-risk, high-income matchups.
My strategy was to fight Wilder in April, because he was about this one face, one name champion. So we was like, all right, cool. Wilder has earned £10, we're gonna offer him X. He wants all the belts, we've got all the belts, biggest stadium, but he wasn't interested.
4 months of negotiation, they knew they didn't want to fight, bro. Stop. What more do I have to do for people,
No wonder AJ didn't want no part of that right hand. He can't move like me, he'd have been nailed.
So for the rest of the year, expect more excuses and fewer classic matchups. The fighters are making a lot of money by not taking any real chances.
Two of the foremost authorities on boxing matters join us now, Ade Oladipo in Johannesburg and Ronald McIntosh in London. Hello to both of you, gentlemen. Ronald, if I could start with you, why do we seem to have these regular bouts between the big-name heavyweights and relatively low-risk opponents then?
Well, I think you've hit the nail on the head during the report that just preceded our contribution here, and this is professional prize fighting, this is professional boxing. If you can get the maximum reward for the minimum risk, then I think any professional prize fighter will take that. We had tremendous momentum at the end of 2018. The rematch between Fury and Wilder appeared to be a done deal, but of course they've gone their separate ways now. And who knows when they're going to come back together, when these different train tracks will converge to give us the showdown between 3 men who all feel that they're the best heavyweights in the world. When will we get this mini unification series to determine who is the man, who is the unified undisputed champion? Right now, they seem a long way off.
Ade, does it even matter what the fans want? Because 2019 feels like a bit of a write-off in terms of wanting those big fights and those big names to come together.
Yeah, you can almost write 2019 off. It's done. Forget it. 2019 is absolutely done. As your piece said in the beginning there, we have 3 big names all on 3 different networks, and that's the problem. No one wants to see their products on another network. I almost have to admit as well, there might just be too much money in heavyweight boxing. I can't believe I'm saying that, but there is. I mean, Tyson Fury reportedly might get 10 million for fighting Tom Schwartz. 10 million for fighting Tom Schwartz. Deontay Wilder turned down a reported offer of 120 million for a free fight deal with DAZN. So there's almost too much money now. These guys can fight lesser opponents and make life-changing money. Why roll the dice with each other? And that's the problem we're having right now. They don't want to seem to roll the dice with each other. I don't believe the fighters are scared. I think the people behind them maybe are managers, promoters, TV execs. The fighters will definitely fight each other. We saw that with Wilder and Fury. People behind them don't seem to want to make these fights happen.
Ronald, and as Ade was saying there, I mean, it's the big money promoters and the broadcasters really are pulling the strings at the moment, but at what cost?
Well, the potential is that you get fans tuning out from heavyweight boxing. There was so much momentum after Anthony Joshua fought Vladimir Klitschko at Wembley Stadium. Then that momentum continuing when Fury took the fight at relatively short notice to fight Deontay Wilder. That got America tuned into heavyweight boxing once again. So the potential cost is that people don't bother watching heavyweight boxing because they feel that the result is going to be a foregone conclusion. Now, I happen to believe that anytime 2 skilled boxers go into the ring, there's no such thing as a foregone conclusion, and this is why we have the fights. But the potential is that all the momentum and goodwill that had been built up towards the sport, the moral high ground that Wilder and Fury enjoyed, by making the fight at relatively short notice, all of that could be lost, and heavyweight boxing, while very lucrative, could become just background noise to the sports that other people enjoy, where they have a fixture list and they know the contest that they're going to see, which ultimately resolve themselves with the best contesting against the best. That's not necessarily the case in heavyweight boxing.
Ade, I see you nodding. I don't know if that is an agreement or not, but do you think we're getting to a point where more and more fans will say, you know what, I don't want to spend this $20, I don't want to spend this $30 on pay-per-view because it's just not what I want?
Yes and no. There is that intrigue. I mean, Ronald would tell you, Mike Tyson in the 80s, you knew what was going to happen. You still tuned in to watch Mike Tyson. So there is still an intrigue as long as these guys keep their O. All these fighters are unbeaten. And as long as they can keep their O, there will still be that intrigue in those guys meeting up with each other. If one of those guys loses, and you always roll the dice in heavyweight boxing, all it takes is one punch. Anthony Joshua is fighting a guy that weighs 315 pounds during the first. If Jerome Miller hits him clean, that could be that. But as long as they keep their zeros, then I think fans will still be intrigued because fans are just interested in big knockouts. And Joshua and Wilder definitely bring that, and Fury brings excitement. So there still will be intrigue, but if one of them loses, that's it, it's done.
Ronald, I'm glad you mentioned a little bit earlier about the money kind of being in the United States, but what does that mean for British boxing then? If we've got, you know, a fight scheduled for April at Wembley Stadium that everybody's getting excited about now cancelled, I mean, what is the future of British boxing in your opinion then?
I think the future of British boxing is still bright. I still think that there's a vibrant scene here, and when big fights do take place, it's an atmosphere in the UK that very other few countries can rival in terms of making it a spectacle and making it an event. What the US has in its favor is the huge license fees that the broadcasters can pay, and if it's in the fight capital of the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, the site fees that the casinos are willing to lay down. So even though you have the spectacle of a contest in the UK with a fervent, passionate, knowledgeable fan base, the real money is in the United States, be it at the AT&T Center in Dallas, where the Dallas Cowboys play, or Las Vegas. That always is going to be a draw for boxers to travel over to the Atlantic. There was a period of about maybe 5, 6, maybe even a decade where UK fighters felt they didn't need to go overseas. But now that the big money has returned to US broadcasting, that trend seems to have been reversed, and the top exports, or the UK fighters here at the top of the pile, want to go to the US and get a slice of that big money that's on offer from the TV networks and the casinos.
And Ade, do you think we're going to get to a point where there's going to be a compromise between these big networks so that fans can get to see what they want to see, the big fights?
Yeah, we will see them happen. I mean, if you go back a few years, Lennox Lewis, Mike Tyson, 2 different networks that came together, Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao, the same thing. As long as there's a huge amount of money on the table, we will see these fights happen. If we want to see them when we want to see them, that's the problem. Manny Pacquiao versus Mayweather came 5 years too late. Tyson Lewis, again, the fight that came too late. But they will happen. Going back to what Ronald said there about British boxing's in a bit of trouble. I mean, Ronald might not agree with me, but I mean, look, all the big names are going over to America right now. There is talk about Callum Smith fighting in America, Kell Brook, America, Amir Khan, America, Tyson Fury, America. I mean, I could go on and on and on. All the big names that had a lot of their fights in the UK are now going to America because the checks are just too much, right? The money is too much. And I think Ronald talked about it there, the licensing fee. You just can't compete, unfortunately, with what BT Sports and Sky Sports are offering. So a lot of the big names will go stateside unless Sky and BT can increase what they pay the fighters. British boxing, I'm not going to say it's on a decline, but it's certainly in trouble, especially in the next sort of year, 2 years anyway.
Insightful, brilliant, and certainly a topic we'll pick up on again in the future. Really appreciate your insights. Ade Oladipo in Johannesburg, Ronald McIntosh in London. Thank you, gentlemen.